So after finishing config file, okay, and provider file, I have finished these two files. Okay, so I have finished llm config file. Okay, I have finished code for this, and I have also finished code for provider.py. Okay, I have completed these things, these two files I have completed. Okay, now what? Now I am going to create another file, that is validator.py. So here I am going to write validator.py. Okay, so why we are going to create this validator.py? So in real project configuration, mistakes are very common. Okay, sometimes the API key is missing, sometimes a placeholder value is left in the .env file. Okay, so before we start building agent, we will create a small validator. Okay, we will create here a small validator that checks whether our LLM provider correctly configure or not. Okay, so before we start building agent, we will create a small validator that checks whether our LLM provider are correctly configured or not. Okay, so this script, I mean this one I'm going to write here. Okay, so this script check whether the Groq or OpenRouter API key are present and look valid. It does not make any API key call, it only verify the environment setup. Okay, so this is very useful when student clone the repository or set up the project on a new machine. Okay, so here I'm going to write code. Okay, so that's why we are going to create validator. Okay, so here you can see I'm just import. So this is the description of this file. Okay, so I have validator.py file. Okay, I did spelling mistake here, I just need to rename this. Okay, so this is our validator.py file. Okay, it provides simple configuration validator for this course. Check whether Groq or OpenRouter API key are configured correctly or not. Okay, so we can run this command for run this file. Okay, so first thing I'm going to import OS. I import SVIS. Okay, I'm going to import tuple, and I'm going to import load underscore .env for API keys from .env file. Okay, so here I also import these things. Okay, from provider. So I have provider.py, so I'm going to import from provider these things. Okay, Groq model, OpenRouter model. Okay, providers URL, providers env keys. Okay, providers model. So I have everything. Okay, I import from provider.py. Okay, so here you can see only two provider used in this course. So we use two provider in this course, equals to provider, course provider equals to provider Groq and provider OpenRouter. Okay, so after this, what I'm going to do? What? Okay, so 1 minute. This one Groq provider, constant string for Groq. Okay, and this is also constant string for OpenRouter. This one map provider, environment variable name. Okay, it will give you environment variable name, and this is also map provider website to get API keys. Okay, and here this line. Okay, so in this course we only support two LLM providers, so we store them in a list to validate them later. Okay, after this I'm going to create one function, and function name is def validate underscore provider. Okay, here I'm going to write provider colon str. Okay, here I'm just going to write tuple, and here inside this I want tuple in bool or in str. So okay, so it will give you provider, valid provider in a tuple. Okay, and it may be bool or it may be in string. Okay, so that's why I passed here. So this check, this one, 1 minute, I just need to write colon. So this line, I mean this one check if provider API keys exist in the .env file. If not validate configuration, it does not make any real API request. Okay, so it return what? Like if you get API key, then it will return true. Okay, if configuration look valid, true, and it will give you answer. Okay, and otherwise it will give you, I mean, it will return false and message, or it say, hey, it is wrong. Okay, if sometime it is wrong. Okay, now I am going to write code for one here I just need to write one variable, that is env variable. Okay, env variable equals to provider env keys. Okay, here it is equal. Okay, so this line, what does it mean? Oh, it should be in a small letter. Okay, so this line, get the environment variable name for this provider. For example, we have Groq provider, then it will give the environment variable name for the Groq. Okay, and it also give you the, here I use provider equals to Groq. Okay, and provider env keys means Groq API keys. Okay, so here after this I'm going to write one condition. If not env underscore variable. Okay, if provider is not recognized here, okay, then it will raise the error. It will return false. It will return false. And here it will write, sorry, it will return false, and it will give you in your unknown provider. Unknown provider. Okay, it will give you error, and it is saying unknown. It will say to you that it is unknown provider. Okay, so here you just need to write provider name also. So here it will give you like, it will return false and unknown provider. Like if you use OpenAI, but we don't have any OpenAI, so it will give you error like unknown provider OpenAI. Okay, for here after this I'm going to write one variable, that is value equals to os dot get env. Here I'm going to pass env underscore variable. Okay, here I'm just writing empty string. So it will, this line, read the API key from the environment variable. If it doesn't exist, okay, if it doesn't exist, it will give you default string. Okay, or we can say empty string. Okay, now what? So after this I just need to write case 1. Okay, here this is case 1. Case 1. Okay, so in case 1, API key not set all. So here I need to write API key not set all. Okay, so here I'm going to write condition. Okay, if not value. Okay, if not value, it will return false. Okay, and it will give you like this, not set, API key is not set. Okay, API key is not set. Okay, it say that add environment variable. Okay, so here we can add environment variable, okay, to your .env file. Okay, so this case is like if API keys not exist or not set. Okay, if API key is not set, okay, then it will return error. It will say you false, or you need to not set API key at, you need to add in API key in environment variable to your .env file. Okay, and here after this, after case 1, I'm just going to write case 2. Okay, so this is for case 2. Case 2 for what? Placeholder value is still present. So here I just need to write placeholder value is still present. Okay, now what? I'm going to write one condition: if value dot ends with here. Okay, or value equals to type underscore key here. Okay guys, so here you can see what placeholder value is still present. Okay, for example, we have Groq API keys inside our env file like this. Okay, we have Groq API key. This is our Groq API key. Okay, then what? So it will check if API जो value है, okay, if value end with here like this. Okay, if value end with here or value equals to type key here. Okay, then it will return what? It will return one minute. After this I just need to put colons here. Okay, and here I just need to write URL, that is another variable. So URL equals to, I'm just writing here provider. Okay, provider URL dot get provider, it should be in small, get. Okay, provider comma empty string. Okay, so here by using this line, provide the official website where user can generate a real API keys. Okay, and after this it will return what? False. It will return false in f string, that is that is what? Provider underscore URL. Provider underscore URL. This one. Okay, so it provide the official website by using this. We are going to provide official website by using this to the user, that we get the API keys. Otherwise it will return false here f in f string provider URL, and here I need to write what? Oh, here I need to write get a real key at URL. Okay, now we have another case, that is case 3. We have case 3. In place of 2 I need to write case 3. Okay, so here in case 3 what I'm going to do, in case 3 key exists but look suspicious. Okay, so keys exist here but look suspicious. Okay, so here I'm going to write codes. Here I'm going to check if length and value inside the length of value is less than 10. Okay, it will return false. It will return false. Okay, so most API keys are long string. Okay, so that's why I need to write. You can see here we have API keys in more than 10. Okay, so I just write the condition here for validate our API key, that it is valid or not, or it is exist or not, or if it is suspicious. Okay, so here if length of value means length of API key values is less than 10, it will return the false. Okay, and here after false I just send the message also like this. Okay, too short, API key is too short. Okay, and here I just need to write key may be invalid. Okay, key may be invalid. Now I'm going to return true. It will return true. Okay, and if I got API key, then it will return like this. If f okay and length 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 colon, here I just need to pass what, length of value API keys value. Okay, and here in character. Okay, so it will return true. Oh, where is the true, guys? I forget to write true here. Okay, so if we find out the API key, it will return true, and it is said that okay, like this. Okay, and here it is giving length of API key. Okay, length colon length of value. Okay, in character. So if none of the above, I mean problem occur, none of these problem are occur. Okay, then we configure, I mean our configuration is correctly, we mention correct here everything. Okay, so the configuration is probably correct, so that's why we return true here. Okay, so we mention 3 case 1 for if API key is not set, then we need to set here. Okay, this is for placeholder. Okay, and this is for validate the API key if API key exists or not, or if it is look suspicious, then we return the false. If it is not if it is suspicious, then we return false, otherwise it will return true. Okay, now I am going to define one function here, def run validator, run validation. Okay, here I need to write bool that we get everything in bools. Okay, so run validator, why we use this function? Okay, so run validation for Groq and open routers. Okay, it return true if at least one provider is configured correctly. Okay, so we will run validator for Groq. This function is for Groq and OpenRouter. If it return true means at least we have one provider, okay, that is correctly configured and working properly. Okay, so here I'm going to print. I'm just going to print here mpd, and now I'm just going to print header so output look clean in the terminal. Okay, so here I'm just going to print okay, so it will give you clean output 50. I'm just going to print AutoGen force. Here config validator. And here I'm going to print this normal thing 50. Okay, now we are going to read default provider from env file. Okay, so here I'm going to read. I just mention should I mention here in comment? No, here I just need to mention in comment here. Okay, print a header so output looks clean in the terminal. Okay, and after this we can also write one heading here, one heading in comment. Okay, so read default provider from .env. Okay, so here it is. I'm just going to write one comment also. If it does not exist, it will give you error, fallback to Groq. Okay, so here I need to write default underscore provider. Default underscore provider equals to os dot get env. os dot get env. Here I am going to write default provider. Okay, and here I can write Groq. Okay, so it read the default provider from the .env file. Okay, if does not exist, it will fall back to Groq. Okay, so default provider os.getEnv. Okay, if we don't have an env file, then it will use Groq by default. Okay, and after this I'm going to write something in heading. Okay, so which provider is correctly set as default. Okay, so here I'm going to print f string I'm going to print default provider. Here we have default provider columns, and here I just need to write what this provider, default provider. Okay, so it will print the default provider, and here I just need to print for clear result. Okay, so it is going to show you which provider is correctly set as the default. Okay, so we are use Groq, so it is going to be print Groq. Otherwise we have another default provider, then it will use other default provider also. Okay, so we are going to track if at least one provider is configured correctly. So here I need to write any underscore valid is equals to false. It means track if at least one provider is correctly configured. Okay, so that's why I write any valid equals to false. Okay, now I'm going to use loop. Okay, so here I'm just going to use loop through all provider use in this course. Okay, and Groq and OpenRouter, for Groq and OpenRouter, so I use loop. So for provider in where? Here in course provider. For provider in course provider. Okay, so I'm going to use write is underscore valid. Okay, validate the API key configuration. It validate the API key configuration. This function check whether keys exist or not in env file. Exist in env file. Okay, so here I need to write message equals to validate provider. Here I need to write provider. Okay, so this line is valid. Okay, this line used to validate API key configuration. It is going to say this function check whether the keys exist or not, exist in .env file. Okay, this function check whether the keys exist in .env file. Okay, and I already saw this. Okay, so I use this loop. So I'm going to loop through all provider use in this course. Okay, and this one is going to be check whether the API keys exist in .env file. Okay, now after this I'm going to write status. Status is okay. Status is okay if is valid. Okay, otherwise in else it is going to say skip. Okay, so here you can see this line, it show the status in terminal. Okay, okay means if configure this one, okay means configure is correctly, and skip means what? If something missing or invalid. Okay, now I'm going to create env variable again. I use multiple times this variable. Okay, so here get the environment variable name by using this, like Groq API key or OpenRouter API key. So here we got environment variable name by using provider env keys. Okay, here I'm going to write get provider. Okay, so here I just get our environment variable name. For example, we use Groq or we use OpenRouter. Like this, it will give you environment variable name. Okay, and here after this, I'm going to print f string, and here I just need to pass. I did mistake here. I need to write f string. Okay, and here inside this I need to pass this status. Okay, and after this I need to write like this. I need to write provider less than 12. Okay, and here I need to write env underscore variable. It should be in curly bracket. Okay, after this we have here another variable, that is message. Okay, this is our message. Okay, and this is our status, and this is our provider. Okay, so this line print validation result. Okay, status, provider, and env variable and message. Okay. Oh, env variable, I did mistake here. Openai, sorry, provider env key dot get provider. So I also write like this here, question mark. Okay, so get the environment key variable name by using this line. Okay, and it will print validation configuration result. Validation result. Okay, now I am going to check with condition if this provider work, mark system as valid. Okay, so here if this provider is work, so here I'm just going to write one condition. If is valid, then any valid is equals to true. Okay, and here I'm going to print this is for looking good, that our result will be look good, so that's why I add this empty. Okay, and now what so here you can see I print, and now I'm going to write one condition also here. Okay, that is if any valid. Okay, so is this here I finish for is valid. Okay, now I am going to write for this if any valid. So here if any valid. Oh. Okay, so here I'm just going to write if any valid colons, it is going to print. I'm going to check if at least one provider is work. Okay, so here I'm going to print configuration look good. Configuration looks good. Configuration looks good. And I'm going to write one condition also else. Okay, so here in else condition I'm going to print if no provider are configured. So here I'm going to print no valid provider found. No valid provider found. Okay, and here this is for looking good. Okay, and now I am going to print what, so instruction to fix the problem. Okay, so this is like if you are going to show instruction to fix the problem. So here I'm going to write print fix the problem. Here I can also print open your env file. Open your .env file. Okay, again I'm going to print add your Groq or OpenRouter API key. Add Groq and OpenRouter API key. So we have Groq API keys. Groq API keys. Here I have an env file. Groq API keys. And second one is OpenRouter API keys. So Groq or OpenRouter API keys. Okay. Now we can suggest Groq because it has a free tier. Okay, so here we can suggest Groq to the user. Okay, so here get a free Groq key here. Okay, so we can use Groq URL to get our keys. So I have my Groq URL, that is https://console.groq.com. Okay, so you can create from here. Okay, now I'm going to print again. Print for decoration. And I'm going to print again. Okay, and here I'm going to return true or false, so other script can other script can use this result. Okay, so I'm going to return here any valid. Okay, so here I'm going to return true or false, so other script can use this result. Okay, so that's why I return any valid. Okay, after this we can also mention this one. Okay, if underscore name for testing purpose, guys. Okay, and here I just need to write underscore main underscore. Here I need to put colons. Okay, this block run only if the file is executed directly. Okay, so I use okay, so it read, I'm going to write here one variable ready equals to run validator. Run validator, this is our what function name. We have this one. Okay, run validator. So here this is the object. Here I'm going to call run validator function. Okay, and here exists code for terminal 0 for success, 1 for failure. Okay, so I'm going to write sys exit. Here I need to write 0 if ready, else it will give you 1. Okay, so 0 for success, यहाँ mention कर देती हूँ, not necessary, 0 for success and 1 for failure. Okay guys, so I have completed this code. Okay, so this is the validator, I mean this is the validator file, our validator file. Okay, so this file, validator file, is mainly used during the setup phase. Okay, if something break later, we can run this script again to quickly check whether our API configuration is still correct or not. Okay. Now we are going to run this file. Okay, so how can we run this file? Okay, I already mentioned here in doc string by using this command we can run this. Okay, so I just need to copy this and I just need to remove these things by using clear screen and we can run. Okay, so you can see here what I have in my output. Okay, so you can see here we print here what status, that is okay or not. So here you can see we have default provider Groq, this one. Okay, default provider is Groq, this one. Okay, and we have Groq API keys. Okay, you can see it is giving us okay, status is equals to okay. Okay, and we also have OpenRouter API keys also. Okay, and also print the status configuration look good here. Okay, so guys, this is our output. Okay, now we are going to move here module 1. Okay, so we are going to write code for module 1. Okay guys, this is I just finished code for configuration. In this file we have in this folder we have 3 file llm configure. I already have this code in this file. Okay, this is the code. Okay, and my first file is provider, second file is llm configure, and third file is validator. Okay, so this is for initial setup. Now we can use these things inside our every script. Okay, so now we are going to move here in module 1 foundation. Okay, so here we are going to create our files and code. Okay, whatever I will explain after some time. Okay,